Xenophobia. That's what some people are accusing in the wake of the Rohingya issue, which seems to have escalated ever since the Nur Aziza speech in Australia and also the Sahat Hero Facebook post where he tried to split up our country. Amidst the petition, the comments, the unfortunate all-out hatred, I do just want to say though that no, Malaysia does not hate immigrants in general. So boobs, I can see why some people might think that Malaysians all hate migrants. You're all so hateful. How could you? And I can't deny, by the way, that some Malaysians can be xenophobic, we can be racist, and that is something that we have to own up to. But it is also a fact though, that Malaysia hosts tons of people from across the world. You have people from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and yes, Myanmar. Now I stopped there for a while because I know that helps to form just a certain impression in your mind, but there are also people from other places and other countries, like the US, the UK, and wherever it is that all of these ISKL staff happen to come from. Now these people work everywhere, like in construction, logistics, they're in shops, restaurants, mamaks, etc. And you really have to wonder, if Malaysians really hated all of these people, would they even be in our country? Would they even be contributing towards Malaysia as a whole? I'm not ashamed, by the way, to say that they do actually contribute. Like, a lot of them work honest jobs, and a lot of times it's jobs that a lot of Malaysians just don't want to do. And I'm including teaching in that, by the way. Though we're not talking about teachers being offered expat packages because they're Caucasian, but that's a separate matter altogether. But the point is that, generally speaking, I think it is wrong to say that all Malaysians are xenophobic or we hate immigrants just because, for example, we happen to object to the Rohingya issue and we want to say that at the end of the day, Malaysians should come first. I mean, if you even look at the people of Malaysia at the moment, you can see there are people of Orang Asli descent, Malay descent, Chinese, Indian, etc. And really, the only group of people that can actually be said to be the original peoples of the land are the Orang Asli. You know, when Dr. Mahathir wrote about the Malays in the Malay Dilemma, he called the Malays the characteristic peoples, the people who first formed governments. That's not saying that they were the people who were here from the very beginning of time. It's basically an admission that, hey, nobody except the Orang Asli are original peoples. Pretty much everyone was a migrant. But see, when I think about the Rohingya issue nowadays, I think the reason this really triggers people of all races and religions to the point that people are just not happy is that there's a distinction between legal migration and illegal migration. And there's also a sort of quid pro quo that you expect from someone migrating into your society. Now, obviously the Chinese and the Indians, when they came over before British colonization, that was through trade networks, and when they came over during the age of British Empire, it was to contribute to the economy. So there was a quid pro quo there, and there's a clear benefit associated with that sort of migration. Nowadays, when we give expat packages, it's possibly because there's like demand. Of course though, but yes, we can say that maybe it would be too transactional of us to say that every single person that comes into Malaysia should offer value to the country, benefit the country, when in reality, you have a lot of Malaysians who are not beneficial to their country at all. Like, even if you have a blue IC, it's not like you actually contribute, it's not like you offer anything to society. Whether you're there or you're not there, it doesn't make any difference. But see, in society, in any group that a person is part of, their presence can either help people, it can harm people, or it can do nothing. And unfortunately, when Malaysia thinks about the Rohingya issue, whether it's fair or not, we have this impression that at the end of the day, that particular community is harming people. And sure, maybe that's because of the news cycle, maybe it's because people are just focusing on this particular community, which is extremely vulnerable and, by the way, totally doesn't do anything to eat up the budget of the Malaysian government. I think you can debate that point over and over again, but whether that's going to be an immediate solution to that or it's not, I think it does show us something very important, which is that Malaysians don't like it if you come to Malaysia, our homeland, where we grew up, where we met our neighbors, where we obtained the education that we got for all of these years, and then you start to harm it. Sure, Malaysians harm their own society day after day. People write racist comments, they divide up one another, they fight with one another to the point that sometimes it makes you wonder to yourself if the country is actually going to survive or not. But I think that a lot of us, we have this feeling feeling that somewhere beyond the rainbow or the mountain or whatever it is, these are problems that you can actually solve if you are a part of Malaysian society, if you actually care about the people around you. But I think what's also very clear is that when people try to threaten that, as we saw with the Sahat Zero case, that shows to us that we don't appreciate it when people are actually actively harming us, whether it's from a societal crime standpoint or if people are trying to actually destroy our reputation as a society. And at some point you might just have to ask, should people never respond when there are people actually going out and attacking our society? Should there not be action taken whenever this sort of thing happens? Can you really silence the voice of every single Malaysian because you want to look like you are kind and you are wonderful, when actually at the end of the day, what you want is for your country to be safe. What you want is for the place where you grew up to keep its culture, for your borders not to just be breached because of people with power and money, and people who are too apologetic to the point that they just scream out loud about how we must all be an open society. I mean, we objected to people dumping waste in Malaysia a while ago, and a lot of people were celebrating that, but now here we have a global human rights violation concern, and almost every single country out there is rejecting the people who are facing the fallout of that, but somehow now we accept these people, the other countries fail to keep to their end of the bargain, and then now we are being criticized. Are we now xenophobic because we're not happy with that, we're tired of that, and we're not down to allow our society to continue being infiltrated by people who do not share our values and actually actively harm us? Well, I'll let you think about that. But either way, Sapoops, no, Malaysians are not xenophobic. We just value our country and we don't want to see it disappear. And if you don't agree, you can go ahead and tell me why. What I'm saying is not valid, it is wrong. But for what it's worth, Malaysia does value quality talent. We seek it out. We have Talent Corp exactly for that reason, to get people to actually live in Malaysia. Take up an MM2H. Lower cost of living. If Singapore is too stressful for you, then retire in Malaysia. That is what we do. That showcases that we value voices, cultures, and people from all over the world. And that doesn't disappear just because we want to make sure that our laws are followed. The people who come here value us as human beings as well, and don't go out there trying to harm us while pretending that they are tepaling persecuted and they can do anything that they want with no repercussions. What do you think, Sapoops? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. That's all I'll say about that, and bye.